We have talked about ways that keep you from getting to fluency, and we've talked about a lot of ways to get to fluency. But for all of you intermediates out there that are like, did they forget about us? What are some things that are probably keeping you from becoming advanced?
Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Why Go Friends English, and don't worry, intermediates, we have not forgotten you because this video is for you.
So one of the 5 study habits that we see people doing all the time at the intermediate levels, and it's keeping them from really growing, is that they are focusing solely on ESL content because it's easier.
It's easier, it's simpler. A lot of times it has stuff already broken down for you. Keywords, vocabulary, idioms, questions, comprehension, all of that is great. And native content, it's not always cut and dry.
No, and if you always stick with the ESL content, you're never going to get to native content. I've had so many students say, I'm so frustrated I don't understand a doctor's form, or I'm so frustrated I can't read the driver's exam packet. I'm so frustrated that I can't just read a book in English. And they're not trying to. That's the problem. If you want to be able to get to that level, you've got to give yourself time to practice at that level. And I'm not saying all the time. I'm not saying all of your English should be focused on native material. But you need to at least start at the intermediate level, like somewhere in middle intermediate. You need to start engaging with it. You need to start spending maybe 10 minutes of your study time every day looking at or listening to or reading native material. Because if you don't, you'll never really get there.
It's the idea of phasing in that material, right? When you're a beginner, pretty much all the material that you come across is going to be ESL material. But as you get closer and closer to advanced, you need to be switching out that material to be far more native than ESL. When you are intermediate, you are in the middle. So you have to work on really stretching yourself to be more comfortable with native material.
It is difficult. Don't get me wrong. It is frustrating. We understand that. But if you never engage with it, you'll never get there. So you've got to start now. You've got to start as an intermediate.
The second study habit that will keep you from advanced English is continuing to use intermediate study strategies.
Yes, sometimes this is because of the program you're in or the textbook that you're using or just the teacher, the class that you're in. A lot of times intermediate speakers, they begin to think, oh, I have to practice this in a skit, or I have to work on worksheets, or I have to focus on doing this and go through the flashcards and do all the things. Those things are good. You're not necessarily wasting your time as an intermediate doing these things, but you also, again, you need to be doing things in real English. You need to be going out and speaking with native speakers. You need to be shifting into some advanced strategies as well. And I don't mean diving into advanced grammar because it's not good to jump into that too soon. But what you should be doing is you need to be taking a text and a short one or a short audio, and you need to really dive into it. We also have an advanced deep study routine video that we did recently. It's great for you doing even now at the intermediate level. My caveat for you as an intermediate is to take something really short and focus on it and break it down, do as much as you can. Ideally, you have somebody to ask about these things, whether it's a tutor or a teacher or an American friend, but ask questions. If you can start asking questions now, you're going to do a lot better in the advanced levels. You need to start incorporating deep study into your routine at the intermediate level to really grow well and solidly into the advanced levels.
Yeah. Slow down, go smaller, and you'll gain more from it, but not all the time. Similar to that, our third point is avoiding these times, avoiding these deep study sessions on shorter material because you know it's going to be a lot of work and you don't necessarily want to do that. You want to do that book. You want to do that intermediate study TOEFL, IELTS book that you can hammer out 4 pages today and it makes you feel good. That's what you want to do. But if you do that all the time, then you're avoiding really good native things in those deep study sessions.
By the time you're high advanced, you are no longer going to be going through books. You're going to no longer be doing worksheet after worksheet or having these great measurements. Getting from high advanced to fluent requires a looser thing. You need to explore more. You need to be using the language. And when you come across a problem, you need to study it to really figure out why it's not right and try to figure out a better way to go about it or multiple ways to go about it. Maybe you're looking at bulking out and doing more varied options, more ways to say something, or more ways to describe something, or how to describe something in different ways and contexts and tones and styles. You can experiment with that as an intermediate, and we highly encourage you to begin doing that. Again, it should not be the centerpiece of your learning at this point, but it should definitely be there. It should be something that you do a little bit every day if you can. If you don't have enough time to study like that, you need to be doing it at least every week. Something that you study deeply every week. If you can't do it all in one day, you can at least return to it a little by little every day.
The fourth bad habit that some of our students have is they don't surround themselves with English. They still have those kind of areas of their life that they want to keep separated from their English life. Don't touch my music. I would like to listen to my Spanish music or my Chinese music. I don't necessarily want to listen to English music or something like this, where they kind of hole off one section of their life to say that isn't touched by English. Unfortunately, with languages, that means that that whole area of your life, you won't be thinking in English, responding in English, talking in English. You won't be doing anything in English. And if that's resting, then that means that you will never rest in English.
Yes, which could be a huge problem. A lot of people will say, well, why can't I think in English? Or why am I not getting any closer to fluency? And usually it's this problem. They have something that they're like, these are the influencers I like. This is how I spend my me time. But if your me time has nothing to do with English and you want to go and live in America, or you want to go and become fluent, or you're aiming for mastery eventually in English, you need to give that up. You need to give up those things that are just yours. At the very least, take those things that you just cling to, these influencers or these people you followed for years and years and years and you love to watch in your own language, respond to them in English. Respond to them in a comment in English, summarize what they said in English, speak about it to yourself in English. You've got to do something with that in English. It's not bad to have those things to do in your own language, but if you are striving to get to where you can think and dream in English, you've got to be doing things in English.
The last one is avoiding using a particular skill or doing a skill that you are just naturally good at. Like if you're really good at speaking and you speak all the time and you never practice writing because it makes you feel uncomfortable, you're not very good at it, and so you just completely avoid it, that is going to hinder you from advanced English.
Yes, all of the skills work together to make English what it is, any language what it is. So you've got to be doing this. And let's break this into sub-skills too. These are things like pronunciation and intonation and using those well, using your paralanguage, your body language, writing certain things over others, like whether you feel confident in writing emails, but you don't feel confident at all to write an essay. Everything that you section off and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do that because I don't like it, or it's difficult, or it makes me uncomfortable. Those are the things you probably should be spending a lot of time on, actually, in order to level the playing field and to bring your English as a whole up together.
That's why we often separate things into context, but also we can separate them into uses. Like she just said, you may be good in interviews, and then they ask you to do small talk. You may find yourself in a very difficult or uncomfortable position.
An indefinite thing. There's no goal, there's no clear end or beginning or clear questions or purposes behind those questions that are obvious. Small talk can be very anxiety-inducing for some people.
So you need to take a broad approach. As you approach advanced English, don't stop doing things that are making you uncomfortable. Don't say, okay, I've gotten to the point now where I can communicate pretty well. I don't have to do that, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
If you do, then all of your English will rest on shaky ground.
All right, so for those of you who have been asking, there you go. These are 5 things that may be keeping you from growing to the advanced levels. So we hope that you take them to heart, you actually apply them and practice them in your own English language journey. If you would like more tips like this, we send them out every single week in our newsletter. So if you'd like to join our email list, go ahead and sign up below.
All right, guys, we hope this video was useful for you, and we're so thankful that you are here, and we will catch you on the next one.